There she is. I just got mail. I'm pretty sure you guys, that I showed you this yesterday. I can't remember now. Maybe I probably did. That's the office hours for next week, right? So,
yes.
Okay, good. So next week, of course, no regular lectures for any classes. Next week is finals week. I don't have anything scheduled for Wednesday. Oh, not for you guys. I have a final I'm doing on Wednesday. Is that true, Jeff? Let me see. Yeah, I do have a final I'm doing on Wednesday. I could throw some more office hours on Wednesday if anybody asks for them. I don't currently have Wednesday office hours. Oh, I should put more specific information here. Let me do that right now while you guys. Yeah, let me put that up here. My office hours start at 10:30 and the final starts at 11:35. So I'll be in Zoom at this link starting at 10:30. And then I can't remember how many details I went over with you guys, but on May 28th, definitely log in before 11:35 to make sure you can actually connect. Maybe about 10 minutes after 11:35, I'm not going to let anybody else in. I'm going to lock it. You're not going to be able to get into the session because I'm going to make the final exam live at 11:35. And if you try to log in much past that, I don't know if you got the final and we're maybe doing some interesting things with it before you logged in. So make sure you are logged in a little early just to be sure that you can actually get connected and stay connected. All right. Come back here. And then of course there's a practice final. This afternoon I will make a video of solutions for the practice final and I'll put them right underneath here, right under there. I had to make a video for practice final for my stats class and you're the one I have to do. Yours is the one that's left to do. Okay, any questions on any of that?
In regards to the practice final,
Yes.
when we were in class, you used to hand out the answers. Will you be doing that as well in addition to the video, like an actual?
No.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, probably not. Either one or the other. So if I do a answer key for it, then I would post that, or I can post video solutions. I'm not going to do both. Yep, one or the other. Because you can look at the video and just fast forward me, so you don't have to sit there and listen to me and just see all the answers if you want to, or not. Either way. Let me think. What else was there? I think that's all for that. Yes. Okay. Anything else about how the final's going to work or how next week is going to work or anything like that? All right. Anything else about now? I think I pleaded with you yesterday to come ready with questions today. So I'm hoping that you guys did take a look at the practice final or maybe did some more homework. You've got some questions for me to work off of. Let me see. Let me pull up the practice final. Okay, I got that ready. We started looking at a few things yesterday. This is totally your time. If nobody's asking anything, it's your time to ask. You can ask anything from the entire semester. It could be something I've answered many times. I don't care. If there's anything that is still troubling you, then ask away. Oof, only 9 of us. Oh, well, that's I don't care. You are here. You are my priority. All good, Alex.
Number 8 for the quiz. I mean, for the practice test. I mean,
Practice. Okay. Ah, yeah. So the one about functions. Let's take a look here. This guy here, right?
yes.
Okay. So the basics of functions. What is f of 4? This is going to be exciting. Let me see. What does this mean? What is this asking you to do? Curtis is like, that's my question, man.
Don't you plug in the numbers?
Yeah, of course. So how many functions did I give you in this problem? How many?
3.
I got 1, 2,
Yeah, 3.
3.
No, 4. No, 3.
3.
Yeah.
3. So I got an F function, a G function, and an H function. So for part A, obviously, which one am I going to put 4 into?
X.
But which function? That might be a silly question, but do I put it in the first one, the second one, or the third one? Or do I do all 3 just to cover my ass?
Wouldn't it be
What's
all
it ask?
3?
Sorry?
It would be all 3, wouldn't it?
No, no. I mean,
No?
specifically, what is A asking for? F of 4. So, of course, I'm going to use the F function, right? It's asking for F of 4. Part B says G of -2. So I'm going to put a -2 into G.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah. So it really is that thing about from algebra where I have a bunch of variables and I don't know what they are, and then they tell me what they are. And so I plug the values in. So this is really all it is. F of X is 2x minus 1. So F of 4 is twice 4 minus 1. And of course, twice 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7. Yay! All right, Jeff, you don't need all those exclamations. So then part B is the same way. You just plug a -2 in for all the x's in G because it wants the G function, right? How would I do part C?
Just plug W into
Yeah.
the first one, 2W
That's
minus
right.
1.
Exactly. So F of X is 2x minus 1. So F of W is 2W minus 1. That kind of just, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I have a question for the first one. Because that, 2 times 4 would be. Oh yeah, never mind. I didn't see that. I was sorry, I was doing the math wrong.
All right. Not okay, but it's good you caught it. What about part E? Hey, look at that. Me and Melissa, same thoughts. Great minds think alike. The shit do you do with that? So which function is it referring to? Obviously, it's referring to G. Does the G function have something where there might be an issue for certain values of X? Is there something that can't happen in the G function?
I think this means ask us to define X makes this GX defined.
Yes. So it actually, yes. So Melissa's correct, and so is Youngson. X can't be 0. So the domain of G of X is the fact that X can't be 0. Or you could say every number except 0. Because the domain is all the numbers that work. Right? Why can't X be 0 for G? Because then the bottom would be 0. And of course, we know that that's not a good thing. I like it. Okay, let's see. Anything else you guys want to focus on? You can ask me anything on here. You can ask me what's a good way to study. You can ask me how long is the final going to be? Yes.
For number 4, I wanted to look over. What was it? The 2 I wanted to look over was D and I.
Okay. And they're sort of related. D is a little bit better than I because D has numbers in the denominator, right? It's a little bit easier to work with. And what's the first step sort of in both of these, really?
You need to make the denominators the same.
Yes.
12.
Get LCDs. So obviously, what will the LCD be for D?
12.
12. So then what's this first guy need?
A 4.
4 times.
4.
Times. And then this guy needs 2. 2. Yeah, I like it. And so forth, right? And then you can multiply everything by 12, and then you have a beautiful straight up equation, no denominator. So the whole idea is really nice. If you can make all the bottoms the same, you can multiply by that. Since everybody's being divided by that, they'll all cancel. No more fractions. Isn't that beautiful? What a world. You can't kill fractions everywhere, only if they're in equations. And part I is the same exact way, but what's really the first step on part I that I didn't really have to do on D? What's the first step on I? We're up to 10 people. Watch out. Anybody? First step on part I? Factor? Yes, totally. You got to know what the bottom is made of before you can tell who's missing something. I don't want to jinx myself, but this is a pretty decent writing on the computer day for me. All right, so that's what that, so then I can tell what both of these are missing, because what is this currently over? This is currently over 1. So this guy's missing 1 thing, and this guy's missing 2. Oh, shit. You guys, is that all right? Can I do that? No, I guess not.
The 3 over x minus 3 is missing the x plus 3.
Beautiful. And then what's this guy missing?
Both of them?
Yeah, he's missing x plus 3 and x minus 3. Poor little dude. So you would just give this guy an x plus 3 on the top and bottom. I don't have enough room to do it on here, darn it. But you do it on the top and the bottom. And then this guy needs to get both of those things on the top and bottom, right? So it's really the same work. This is the same work. It's just this looks a little worse because they're numbers I don't know. Whereas here, these are numbers I know. Maybe. Is that all right? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's that kind of recent stuff we did. Did I have any radical stuff on here or did I forget? Oh, there is some radical stuff. Remember, this is the one that would be extra credit if I did put it on there. This is one from, I think it's from section 9.3. It's one of the sections we didn't make it to in chapter 9. Right, so if you're working on chapter 9 homework and you forgot, you don't have to do 9.3 and 9.4. We just didn't make it that far, which is fine. Yes.
I just have one more, which is number 2, the word problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
A.
Okay. What's the first step of any word problem? Anybody? First step of any word problem. Run away screaming. No. Duck and cover. No. Stop, drop, and roll. No. The first step of any word problem is English. It's just, what are the players in English? You don't care about math for a moment. Just for a moment. What are the players? How many players are there in 2A? Hello? Hello? How many players are there? What are we talking about in 2A? Yeah, there's 3 because we're talking about sides of a triangle, right? They're called one side, largest side, smallest side, right? Those are the 3 players. So let me just do one side, smallest side, the largest side. You can write the whole word out. I'm not going to. What's the next step? So I got my players identified. I wrote down the English for what they are. Now I've got to translate to Mathish.
Make one of them X.
Yes, figure out which one should be X. Can you guys remember how to figure out which one is going to be just X? I feel like I just felt like I was some kids show host.
Someone is
go
1x is X and
again?
2x.
Sorry.
X.
Slow down. Wait, slow down. Which one is X? Which one? You're breaking up. Which one is X?
The first one.
No.
The smallest.
Smallest is X.
Okay.
Now, to be really honest, you actually could make any of them X, but then the other ones would be remarkably difficult to figure out, to be honest. There is a choice for X that makes everything the easiest it could be. Why would the smallest be the easiest one? Because both the one and the largest depend on the smallest. Now it's very easy to write what the one side is. What's the one side? 3 less than twice the smallest.
2x minus 3.
Yes. 2x, that's twice the smallest, and then 3 less than that. And then what would the largest be? 5 more than 3. Yeah, sorry?
Oh, 3x plus 5.
Yeah. Maybe. So I'm not going to get too deep into what I just said, but I do want you could actually make any of them you want to X, but my God, that would make it really difficult to figure out what the other things are. The best choice is the smallest one, because then the other two directly relate to that, right? I need something to drink. That might be tea. All right, now. All right, is that cool? I mean, that's the first step that so many people skip, and they make simple mistakes. What would the equation be for this? What is the idea tying all this stuff together?
The perimeter?
Yes, the perimeter. And how do I always find the perimeter of any shape?
By adding all the sides.
Yeah, and I've got all 3 sides. So one big mistake people make is they make one side equal 62. No, the whole perimeter is supposed to be 62. So this side plus this side, right? Plus this side. This is really torturous for me. It must be horrendous for you. I'm sorry. Gives me the whole perimeter. Okay, that's actually for me, even that 2, for me is pretty good. This 3 looks like he's had a rough night. And that should be a really nice place to, now that's a relatively simple equation to solve, right? And the last thing to worry about with a word problem, there's actually 2 things. Make sure you answer the whole word problem. Don't just get an X value and stop, because there's 3 answers I need for this. And then don't forget the units. Did I give you any units here? Of course I didn't. So on this one, you don't have to worry about units. But you know me, I'm going to make it feet, meters, inches, millimeters, something. Right? So don't solve the equation, get X and stop. There are 3 parts of this that you have to figure out. Okay. What else do we have? Anything that's ever been troubling you, you still hate, you don't quite get, you want something explanation, you're like, I still don't get that.
Yes. 4.
4.
C. Inequality.
Oh, inequality. Okay, so what's the only difference between solving an inequality from solving an equation? There's one thing you have to be careful
The
about.
sign.
Sorry?
The sign.
Yes. If you divide or multiply by a negative, the sign has got to switch, right? It's got to go from that to that, or vice versa, right? Do you guys remember that? So in this case,
Yes.
it looks like that could very well happen, depending on how you solve it. So I'm not sure if you know how to solve equations, you know how to solve inequalities. You do. You just have to remember to switch the sign if you divide by a negative. To be really honest, you can think of it, it happens with equations too, but what happens when you switch an equation, what happens when you switch that sign around, it's still an equal sign. Sorry, that's really dumb. I don't care. Is that all right? I mean, that's solving it. Is it the graphing it and the interval notationing it? Do you guys remember how to do that? Why don't we try that problem out? I'm going to do the problem and you do that problem too, and then we'll compare. There we go. I'm gonna beat you guys. I'm gonna be so fast. Do 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 do. Ooh, this is even more interesting than I realized. Is this the trouble you had? I understand now. This one's really cool. Before do 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 do. I have no idea. I don't know if you guys realize. Thanks, Alex. I have no idea where the hell I came from. It's a little George Michael for you. You gotta have faith. Oh, you gotta have math. All right. What's happening here that's weird? Oof. Thanks, Alex.
12. Sorry.
Are you guys trying this out? Do you guys, something weird should happen?
Yes, 12 greater than 6.
Yes. So let me see. I got to turn off my background. And then even then, I don't know if I could show this to you. Come on, we can do it. You can do it. All right, background, go away. Let me see. Right, so there's that. So then when you add 2x to both sides, the x's die. What? We've seen that happen before, haven't we? Just with equations. If the result is true, the answer is all real numbers. If the result is false, the answer is no solution. Is the result true? Is that a true statement?
It's false. So there's no solution.
Wait. Is 12 bigger than 6?
Yes.
12 is bigger than 6. So that is a true statement. The answer is all real numbers. 12 is bigger than 6. So the way to interpret an inequality where the variable disappears is the exact same way we interpret it for equations. If the answer is true, then the solution is all real numbers. Now, what you're thinking about is if I had an equation and it said 12 equals 6, that would have been no solution. But this one said 12 greater than 6, and that is true. Okay, maybe. So we know what to do when the variable dies, it leaves, right? We have a little celebration, and then we know what the answer is going to be. Is there another question I saw? Oh.
Yeah, now I got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, just now totally messed up.
Okay. All right. Do you guys remember how to do these? F yeah. All right. Sorry. No, okay. I know how to do, oh, I see what you mean. I'm sorry. I thought it was. All right, so F, yes. What do you do on part F? What do you do on problem F? Do you remember what it's called? Yeah, plug in the 2x to the y. That's called substitution. I know y is 2x, so I can rewrite the second equation replacing y with 2x, substituting 2x into y, right? Remember the substitution method? Oh, shit. So what about part E? What method would that be? You actually could use substitution also in part E, but it's sort of set up for elimination. Oh, criminy.
Yeah, we multiply with 5.
Yeah, good. You would, in part E, you would multiply the second one by
Second one.
5,
Yes,
because then what happens?
we put, we add the 3x minus 5 the same, and we multiply 5 with the second part.
And the
Then
reason
we cancel.
good. When you add them together, then the y's would cancel.
Yes.
So elimination is perfectly named because you're trying to eliminate one of the variables. Too many damn variables. The number of variables is too damn high. So we have to kill one of them.
Yeah.
So I like part E is very direct, just die. And then part F is kind of subversive. Let me replace you. It's very Invasion of the Body Snatchers-ish, part F. Hopefully that comes back to you. So the thing about final exams in algebra is you look at something, you're like, oh my God. And then you kind of remind yourself what it was. And because you went through the homework and you got it in your head, it'll come back faster. If you didn't do the homework and you didn't ever really get in your head, it was never there to begin with, it ain't gonna just come back. So that's why you want to keep up with stuff as the semester goes. Whatever, Jeff. Very teacher thing to say. Yeah. How would you do part G? By the way, if you want to do any of these problems, just let me know. We can do them real quick, or, you know, I'm going to put this solution video up anyway. So either way, how would you do part G?
Group them first.
Yeah, you have to factor it. It's already equal to 0. How do I know I have to factor it? Because I have powers above 1 on my x. So then you factor it. You see there's 4 terms. Grouping. I love it. How many answers could there be? Up till how many? Does anybody remember?
Yes, a 3.
3. The highest power on the x is 3. So it can have up to 3 answers. So that's kind of more recent, right? These problems where a factor set each piece equal to 0. We did that recently. I mean, I could walk through each of these one by one if nobody has any questions. I want this to be productive today. So what about the B part word problem? Okay, let's see. Yeah, this one's yummy. So I have a rectangle. Let me go ahead and draw it. Pretend like that's a rectangle. Obviously, the players are the length and the width. Which one is going to just be a letter? Which one is going to be, nope. The length is 2 more than 3 times the width. So doesn't the length depend on the width?
Yes.
So good. That's how I determine what to give a single letter to, is what the other thing depends on. So I'm going to call the width, I could call it W or X, I'm going to call it W. So it looks like an upside down. I remember when I was a kid, here's a bird, birds. So it looks like an upside down bird. So that's the width, and what's the length then? The length is 2 more than 3 times the width. Yes, 3W plus 2. So that's that step of identifying the players and then giving them names. The area is 261 square meters. How do I set that equation up? How do I?
A equal to 61.
Okay, area is 261.
Area.
That's what that says. That's not an equation though. What is the area of this shape? Don't say 261 or I'll have to cry a little bit. What's the area of this? It is supposed to be 261, I know. But what is the area of that shape? Just looking at it.
Width 3, width plus 2.
Say it again.
量的
Length times width, I like it. Right?
Yeah, and we're gonna put on the parentheses 3W plus 2.
I can't get over how, for anybody else, this would be horrendous writing, especially that last parenthesis. But for me, it's really good. All right, and then how would you? Is there? Let me stop there. Any questions on where that came from? Okay, how would I solve that now? Do you see how this side looks factored? But is it equal to the right thing? Nope, what's supposed to be over here? When I factor an equation, it has to be equal to what for me to solve it? We know this.
Square meters?
No. Not physically, equationally. So yes, it has to be 0. I don't care if it's quadratic. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. It's something that I have to factor. In fact, right now it is factored, but is it equal to 0? No.
You have to do the W multiply 3W and W
Yep.
multiply.
I have to
2.
unfactor it and then suck the 261 over.
Yes.
We've done problems like this before. Yeah, okay. So you got to multiply that through, subtract 261 over, and
Yes.
then factor what you end up with. It's exciting.
Okay.
261 is not the easiest number, and I don't care. You got calculators. You can divide it by stuff until you get the right thing. Does that make sense up to that point, guys? I mean, obviously, so now you got to multiply that through, subtract the 261 so you get it equal to 0. We know it's got to be equal to 0. And then I try to refactor what I got.
Yeah, that one make me confused.
Sorry?
That one is too long.
Too long? What do you mean?
Like we have to do a lot of things too.
All right, you don't want me to pull out my tales of math problems that take 7 pages to complete. You don't want me to do that. Yeah, the negative answer cannot count on this problem because it is a word problem. So there's physical constraints. So the math is going to give you the numbers that work. And then we're going to say, that's nice math, but negatives can't work here because I'm trying to, this has got to be an actual object, right? Okay, so I agree. This is not going to be pretty. I'm just going to kind of spill over here. So if I subtract the 261, this is really annoying. It's annoying me. It's got to annoy the hell out of you. So many guys are like, yeah, everything you do, Jeff, annoys the hell out of me. All right, geez. And now you got to find two numbers that multiply to be negative 261 and add to be 2. That sounds impossible, but if I were you, what's going to be true about the two numbers? Are they going to be the same sign or different signs? Are they going to be different signs or the same sign? Which?
There'd be different signs.
Different signs, because it's negative 261. Therefore, they have to subtract to be 2. So 10 and 12. If the 12 was positive, 10 and 12, right, would make 2. But that multiplied to 120. So it's got to be higher. So then, you know, you just try, you keep on trying. Two things that are 2 apart. So maybe 14 and 16, right? But when you multiply those, I don't know, what do you get? 160.
29 and 27, positive 29 and minus 27, we got
Yeah.
minus 783. Sorry.
What?
And
What's happening?
multiply.
Whoa.
When we multiply positive 29, multiply minus 27, we got minus 783.
Oh yeah, well, the thing I forgot, I'm glad you're saying something like that, because at first I wasn't sure what you're talking about. The thing I forgot was we got a 3 out here, right? So it actually has to multiply to be basically what you just said. Negative 783. So then 2 numbers that are 2 apart that make 783 are 29 and 27, yes. And of course, the bigger one has to be positive. Bam. So there was not a 1 out front. So I had to multiply that. But it's not, all right, so that's kind of a disgusting number. I agree. But I've tried to give you alternate ways than just making a long ass list of factors. You can think, you could be more creative. You could be more clever. So then you would rewrite the middle term, right? You would take these and rewrite the middle term, and then you would group all that kind of normal stuff. I like it. And like somebody asked earlier, you will get a negative possibility and you just throw it out because the number works, but you can't have a rectangle with a side length of negative something. That would be really difficult to create. All right, I'm kind of hoping that number 3 is going to be relatively easy now, these factoring problems, right? Maybe. We've done so much of it. You have to know how to factor. You have to. Anything else, guys? Do you guys remember how to do this here? Yeah, this one is definitely one that's going to be easier up on the board behind me. So write that down real quick. This problem here. Let me see. All right, now I'm going to stop sharing. So, here we go. Greater than 8, 2x plus 5y less than 10. Right, these both have 2 variables in them. So when I graph either one of them, it's going to be a line. And since it's an inequality, I've got to shade one side or the other. Does this sound familiar? So what's the quickest way to graph these lines is to solve for y. Does this sound at all familiar? So if I subtract x and then divide by -4, I've got to switch the sign. Negatives cancel. Negative divided into positive is negative. So one line is this line, and then the other line, let me do it in a different color. Let me stop for a minute. You guys with me so far? I have to graph 2 lines, and the easiest way to graph any line is to solve for y. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I say yes.
Okay. Something weird's happening out in my yard. I don't know what it is. All right. And then this one, I'm just going to cut to the chase. This would be y less than or equal to -2/5 x plus 2. If you don't trust me, you can do it yourself. My God, Jeff, what number are these? All I did was solve for y. Is that all right? I just got there quick. All right. So then you graph each of them. So go ahead and take a minute. Make a little graph for yourself. When I go to graph this, I have to include the shading, right? And does anybody remember what kind of line I'm going to use for this?
Dotted.
Dotted, because it's not allowed to equal the line. It's like an open circle. There it is. There's an open circle. Okay. Horrible scale, but I'll make it. I'll somehow make it work. So what do I know about this line? What's the y-intercept? What's the y-intercept of this line?
0, -2.
0, -2. That kicks ass. 0, -2. Exactly. And then the slope is, I have to go
Up 1.
up 1 over 4. Up 1 over 4. And like you told me, dotted line. And then you got a couple different ways you could figure out which way to shade, right? I was supposed to do that one in blue and I forgot. Oh, well, too bad for me. How do you figure out which way to shade?
Use a test point.
Yeah, so if I put 0, 0 in, I can do it either the beginning or the end. It's sometimes easier here. 0 minus 0 greater than 8. Is 0 bigger than 8?
No.
No. So I'm going to shade. I'm not going to shade in that direction because that didn't work. It must be the other side where the answers are. All right. Now on top of that, graph this guy. Go ahead. I'll wait. What'll I do? Some of you guys remember, oh my God, I'm so tired nowadays. Some of you guys might remember that the shortcut I use, y less than, the y's are less than here. So I don't use a test point. It gets a little weird when it gets really steep to tell what up and down is, but you know, that's another way you could do it. So let me catch up to you on this. What's the y-intercept for this guy?
+2.
+2, 0, 2.
Yes, 0, 2.
And then I go,
Wouldn't it be down 2
Good.
over 5?
good, down 2 over 5. And what kind of line am I going to use? What kind of line will I use for this guy?
Solid.
Solid, good, because if I see a line, I graph a line. Oh, scheisse. I got major glare here. I know, I got it, so you guys get no glare, and I get nothing but glare. Oh, shit. And then I can determine which side to shade in much the same way. You could do a test point, put a 0 in, 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 10, that works. Or I could just realize shade down, shade down. So either way, you're going to shade this way. So that the answer ends up being, let me see, you can't really see this too good. All right, ends up being all this stuff here, right? This keeps going, this keeps going. Okay.
We have to put the sign like how you do like the down after you finish this graph. Like you have to, yeah, we have to sign like that too.
Yes, you do, because that's
We
how
have.
you have to, because that's how you determine the answer. The answer to these kind of these kind of inequalities is going to be areas like this, because they're inequalities, so they could be much more than just equations. There's a lot more things that are less than 3 than are equal to 3, that kind of thing. Is that all right? So like part A now is easy as shit because you can't even see it anymore. Part A now is easy because there's just one of them instead of 2. So here you just have to do 1 and then you're done. You don't have to like do one on top of the other one, right? That's very nice. Okay. Anything else you guys want to take a look at to remember how to do? What about this one? What'll I do? Somebody's chatting at me. Can we can sew K. We can sew K. Yeah, sure. I mean, K, we'll do K right now because K is easier. Can you do the square root of -4? I got competing things. Alex, what's the square root of -4? What's 2 times 2? What's -2 times -2?
-4.
What's -2 times -2?
+4, yes.
+4. So there is no square root of -4. There's no real square root of -4. So that would be not real. Done.
What is the answer, Mia?
What is the what now? Sorry?
What is the answer then?
Not real.
For like K?
Not real.
Not real. Okay, I got it.
So let's go back to L. Wait a minute. How do you mean factor it? Sure, but you still don't know what the square root of -1 is, do you? Yeah, and what's funny is, Melissa, you're actually close to what we do. So you can, I like your way of thinking. You could break it up as -1 times 4. Square root of 4 is 2, and the -1 is still inside. So you still haven't improved the situation because we don't know what the square root of -1 is. It's still not real. But I completely agree with what you're saying, Melissa. You could factor it. 4 is square rootable. I love it, but we still don't get rid of the problem. The problem is that dang -1 in there. That negative just throws everything off. As far as we know, we just don't know enough numbers yet, believe it or not. There's a whole group of numbers that most of us don't know. And I'm not putting myself in the, because I know them. I better know them. It's my freaking job to know them. I know them really well. Gave them all nicknames. So how are you guys doing on part L? Has anyone got a suggestion? You guys remember how to tell if something's divisible by 9?
9 multiply 15.
Yeah, well, how do I know that 9 goes into there besides using my calculator? Because 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9.
Yes.
So then I can write this as the square root of 9, get in there, times, what is it? 15? Yeah, 15.
15?
And what's the square root of 9?
3?
And what's the square root of 15?
15, the same.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Good, good. And 15 is 3 times 5. So that's why I know I stop with that, because it doesn't have 2 of anything in it. So I know I can't do square root of 15.
Yes.
All right. What'll I do? Let me see. Anything else kind of freaky? I think we talked about these last time, the line ones. We just talked about those. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping most of you guys look at this stuff and it comes back. It should come back relatively easily if you had it in your head in the first This is kind of relatively recent here, right? But that's just a bunch of factoring and then killing stuff, right? Be really careful. I always get somebody who multiplies this thing. Oh my, can you imagine trying to, you'd have to bring that through and that through. It doesn't say multiply though. It says subtract. So don't start foiling this thing. Oh my God, that's a lot of work. And then people are like, you made that final too long. I'm like, no, I didn't. It was your choice to do that crazy shit. So always pay attention to what the actual operation is.
For F, wouldn't you combine all of the common?
There you go.
F
After you do what?
Yeah.
After you do what? What's going to happen with that negative?
Oh, it turns. Oh, it's a 1 and you distribute. Yeah.
Good. And then you can combine all your like terms. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not multiplication where you got to FOIL all the stuff. No, because it's not asking you to multiply. Like Curtis said, you just need to put your like terms together once you distribute that negative. That's all it is. Good. I'm never going to make you multiply that much shit because it's the same operation, but it just takes forever then. Why would I do that? I'm not that evil. I'm almost that evil, just not quite. Yeah, I think we covered most of the big stuff here. Okay. Anybody, any other questions for right now? 1D. Oh yeah, this bad boy. So what is it about 1D? Look at the numbers. Numbers don't change how they interact, right? 24 over 15, you can reduce that. Does anybody remember what I suggested you do next on this kind of problem?
Wasn't it
No.
like reciprocals
For what?
for the powers?
Which powers?
Like, well, I think it was y -7 and y +7.
No. So which power means reciprocate, means flip? What power means flip?
Oh, I meant, yeah, it's negative. It would be a negative power.
Yeah, so these 6x's go down and these 7y's go up.
Minus go down, positive still up.
Stop. No. Negatives flip.
Flip,
So
yeah, I mean the flip.
These 6 go down and these 7 go up.
I mean the minus go down always and positive go up.
No.
No?
Nope. So again, aren't these are up top, so they flip down.
Because it's minus.
These are on the bottom, they flip up.
Yes, why? Because it's minus.
Yes.
Yes, I told you, but you don't hear me. Because it's minus go down, like flip.
Yeah, so don't say go down, because didn't the y to the -7 go up?
We have to say go. We have to say
Flip.
flip.
Don't say go up, go down. They flip.
Okay.
Yes. So the x -6 flips to down, and the y -7 flips to
I
the up.
got it.
I like it. I like
got
it. So it's just wherever they are, they don't want to be there. That's why they're negative, right? Let me erase some of this crap. Get out of there. All right. So if I rewrite this, those would go up. Can you guys see how that would just be y14? Don't I have 7 up there, and aren't 7 more coming? And x's, I got 7 here, and I got 6 more coming, so I get x to the 13th. And then the 24 and the 15, you just reduce like normal, right?
"24 is 8 and 15 is 5.
Yeah, because you can divide both by 3. Wow, look at that 8. That's like the best 8 I've ever done. All right. You know, yeah, that's my college teacher just wanting a gold star when he can write the number 8. Good job, Jeff. Okay.
What about A? We can look at A. Oh,
A?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude. So what are you going to do there? What do you have to do first? Don't worry about the fractions yet when you are trying to identify what to do first. What do order operations say you must do first?
Parentheses.
Yeah, in the parentheses. So now you can forget about 31 over 20. He's outside. Don't worry about him at first. First thing you focus on is 3 1/5 minus 1/10. So how do you do that?
LCD.
Okay,
We're gonna do LCD.
sure,
Yeah, multiply by 2.
sure.
Divide by 2, I mean.
Well, both. You got to multiply the top and multiply the bottom
Yes,
by 2.
16 and 5. Oh, you can't 5. It's gonna be, okay.
Oh, wait, so you did something else. You did something else first because you just said 16. So what did you actually do first?
We're gonna finish with the parentheses. We're gonna multiply the parentheses first. 5 multiply 3.
Yeah, so you converted this mixed number
15.
to,
Yes.
you converted it to a improper
Yes.
fraction. That's not a bad idea.
Minus 1 over 10. And we do LCD. Then we
Yes, you do LCD.
do that. This is chapter 2, right? Or 1?
No idea.
But
Somewhere way
remember
early. I
the
think it's
first
chapter 1.
chapters.
This is something you're supposed to come in with. So this is chapter 1.
Okay.
I'm almost certain. I don't know. So yeah, in the parentheses, you would make LCD. And then the last thing you do is divide. And how you divide a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. Yeah. This is one of those problems that some people just give up on before they even try it because they see fractions and they run away. But you know how to do each of those things. You just say, oh, there's so many fractions, I don't want to try it. Well, you don't have to think of all the fractions at once. You just have to think of what order operations wants you to do first and then second. Yeah. All right. I think it's about time. So let me remind you of a couple things. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. So just don't forget, I mean, these are where you go. If you click on these, you get the Zoom link for those meetings, right? So both of these are open for everybody, all of my classes. So there's going to be a mixture of you guys and my statistics students in there. So I might break everybody out into rooms based on their class. And then this one, the office hours start at 10:30 and they're just for you guys. They're just for Math90. And then our final starts at 11:35. Please, through God, sign in before that. So you make sure that everything's good technology-wise. Yes? If you have any questions between now and office hours or something, just email me or Canvas, mail me, whatever you call it. Right? I will be checking and stuff.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Is everybody else okay? Yeah.
Yeah, Professor, could you please introduce the differences between Math 103 and 110?
Oh, sure. All right. So 103 only leads you to 120 or 160. 110, you can go 120, 160, 178, 170, 175, 176. It goes to a lot more places. 110 is primarily for the students who have more math that they have to do. And 103 is for students who just want to get to transfer level math and then stop, right? So that's the difference there. Now, I don't think we,
110 is more difficult.
Yeah, it's got everything, whereas 103 only has what you need to meet the requirement for getting an associate's degree. And then, of course, it goes, from there, it goes to 2 transfer level courses. 110 is if you're going to need more math for your major, right? And to be really, really honest, I don't know if we had this discussion. If you go into WebAdvisor, there's 7 questions for assessment that it asks. And based on those 7 questions, you could possibly go from Math 90 straight into statistics or straight into 120. So if you haven't answered those questions yet in a WebAdvisor, you might want to look into that. So you can go either route, right? But if you go to 103 or 110, you can then take a transfer level course. And if you got a lot more math to take, if you got to take pre-calculus, if you got to take business calculus, then you're going to want to take 110 for sure, because otherwise you won't be able to go in there, right?
Yes, thank you. Now I know. So 110, I will have more choices. Yeah.
Yes, 110, you have more choices after. What sucks is if somebody takes 103 and then they find out later, oh, you should have taken 110. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, so I want to be careful about that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. I don't think my hair's been this long in a while. Look at this. Jesus. All right. Anyway, everybody's like that. All right. I'm going to shut things down. I'm not seeing any more questions. So I will see you guys whenever I see you next. Take care.